welcome back once again to the Professional Lovers channel. I'm Al.
And I'm Patty, and we are
the Professional Lovers.
A little late this week, guys. Yes. Sorry, but he had lots of late nights over the past week, and he just couldn't get home in time to watch anything, tape anything. So we're doing it now. By the time you're watching this, it will be last week's episode, but that's okay. We're still going to talk about it, and we're glad that you are here with us.
Please, yes, stay, hang out.
So if you are a subscriber, we love you. But you also know that we've been married 28 years.
If you're not a subscriber, we love you too. But we love you more if you became a subscriber.
So think about it. Been married 28 years. Yep. We love facilitating relationships and sharing our experiences and some of them, I guess you could say, wisdom that we've gained through our journey.
Hopefully that's what it's considered.
We got enough gray hair for it to be considered wisdom. Using the lens of Married at First Sight. So let's get started because we got a lot to talk about. Starting with Stacia and Nate. So, big thing, the first test.
Yeah,
the ATV test. They got on ATVs, and while they were walking toward the place, she was like, neither of us have done this before. You gonna leave me?
You got my back. I mean,
are you gonna, make sure that I'm okay?
Just gonna go off on your own?
And no, I got your back. I got your back.
He was in back of her. He was behind her.
But wait, it started when they were putting their stuff on. He put his stuff on and started taking selfies. And she's asking the guy, so how do you
make this fit?
He was paying no attention whatsoever. And, I was like, that would be a fail.
Yeah. That's a concern. I mean, first off, and it went throughout that whole participation.
That whole activity.
Yeah, activity of, it's a shared event. It's supposed to be shared. I mean, if he's never done it before, okay, yeah, you're excited about doing it, but you're not doing it alone. You're not doing anything alone anymore.
Okay, but is it too soon for her to be expecting him to be attentive and...
You're sharing the activity, the event. You're doing it together. Yeah. At least you would want to know that she's okay with what she's about to embark on.
Well, here's the thing. He was treating her like she was just a friend.
He wasn't treating her at all.
Well, again,
like a group affair.
Right,
I got
that's
mine.
Saying it's a group. He was treating it like it's a group activity.
The group is her and him.
Kind of every man for himself. So he wasn't treating it like I'm with her.
Exactly.
And I want to make sure that she's cool and we're cool and we're doing it
safe.
Absolutely
at least.
Right. So
the ATV is not this is worse than a bike ride. You got power up under you.
True.
So just because you know how to drive or whatever the case may be, that's ATVing is a totally different animal. I respect it. I've never really done it before. I've been on a motorcycle and all of that, but still, it's serious. It's a dangerous activity if you don't know what you're doing.
He was lagging behind her because he was busy taping himself
and the slower she
Instagram.
moved, the more TikToking he could do.
And when she confronted him about it when they were done, like, this is supposed to be a together thing. We're supposed to be, and he was like, he gave my excuse. Well, this is new. I can't just instantly,
flip with the switch.
Flip, yeah.
Right.
And
if you care anything about anybody, there is at least a modicum of concern about the other individual.
Actually, I would say, if it's in your nature.
Okay.
If it's in your nature
that puts it on a totally different level.
To be considerate. And that's what I really think it is. If it's in your nature to be considerate, you kind of automatically are going to do that.
Well, that puts it in a totally different strategy.
And I'm not,
really.
And not to say that he's. There are some people who are naturally observant and considerate
True.
and attentive.
True.
That is not him. Not to say he can't become that, but I don't see that being part of his nature.
It didn't
and it showed.
That to me. Yeah, no, it did.
It showed.
And
you have that as part of your nature.
Well, I would kind of. Well,
but
I almost expect it, even as a man. I get the fact that we are, hunter gatherers, seekers. We conquer. I understand that. But when you have someone that you now are sharing something with, I don't care how new it is. You wouldn't do that for your girlfriend? I mean, just to make sure that she's okay.
But at least they don't know each other they haven't been around each other that long. That all I'm saying is, if it's not in his nature, he has to be taught. Okay. And she started teaching him. And we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. And so he'll have to be taught how to be other-centered.
30-something.
Hey.
Okay.
So she asked him about the bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
He explained it.
Mm-hmm.
Although he said it's a reset and you're completely clear after 6 months. I've never heard that. I thought it was a few years.
Well, he... knowing a little bit about finance, it's on your record for a while. Now, he may have satisfied his debtors.
Right. But yeah, it hangs on your record for a little while. But she was cool, and then she brought up...
the post-nup.
That post-nup.
I ain't mad at her.
I can't say I'm mad at her either.
I mean, because she's achieved what she's achieved.
And she don't know him.
Just the thought of you having experienced the bankruptcy...
Scary.
Okay, you made a business decision with someone who may have been the cause of you going into bankruptcy, but you at least made one mistake. So that it may not necessarily be a red flag, but that's definitely an ear perk.
Yeah.
So okay, we gonna put up a curb. We may not put up a wall, but we're going to put up a curb.
But he understood it.
He had to understand that.
He didn't have to, but I'm glad he did. Because he understood that there's a trust factor there.
True.
And that he's got to build that trust.
And I'm not bashing him. I'm not. I give him his props because he even confessed it. Because he didn't have to.
Right.
It could have been learned down the line somewhere where they ended up doing a business deal together, or, somehow their businesses crossed paths and they decided to do something jointly. And, his credit came up, hers came up, and she saw it, and that...
Yeah, it was good that they put it out there from the very beginning.
Transparent.
Right. Although she is the one who initiated it because Mama.
Yeah,
but he did tell Mama about it right up front.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the last little conversation they had was about the kids. And of course, because of her age, she's feeling that TikTok.
Yeah.
And so she wants kids in a year. And he's like, ooh, I had to, let me drain my glass. Wow. Okay. I'm thinking 2 to 3, but I understand, but let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, and he understood her age and her time
clock. that clock, that biological clock.
And more than likely, it wouldn't be something. I mean, everything would have to be in alignment for that to happen anyway.
Well, we've already seen how couples, because Katina and Elijah Wan went through some of that same thing where our timelines weren't matching up or whatever. But, that works itself out pretty much.
It's yes.
Once you, get into a groove, so.
Which I hope they do.
I do too. Surprisingly, she changed her name to his. And she's like...
And she's got a definite reason for doing so.
Yeah, very thought out. And she's like, and even if we don't make it, I'm keeping that name.
She's a Barnes for life.
I found that very interesting because most of the women don't want to change their name
right
off.
But understanding her situation, she doesn't know a biological father, so she has no true ties to that name at all. Evidently, just from discussion, there was some history regarding her emancipation, you know, where she wasn't necessarily
connected to the stepfather either.
So, you know, okay, mom, dad, or mom and stepdad, y'all got your relationship. I'm going to go ahead and do this over here.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I guess there's, you know, the plot thickened, I guess, a little bit to understand why, you know, she took certain steps at a young age to disengage from that family unit.
Yeah. So, so that's interesting. So she's like, you're stuck with me. I'm going to be a Barnes forever, even if we're not together.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a Barnes forever. Lindy and Miguel, you know, they kind of heated up a little bit. They had some good discussion too. Both of their parents got divorced. And there was, you know, there were situations around that. And so that was, why are you laughing?
When the topic of age came up.
Oh, yeah,
he mentioned that she was young.
Well, because he said what? He graduated from high school in
2003. She graduated in 2011.
And he's like, why are you so young?
She said, why are you so old?
And his face looked like, what?
It was like, All of a sudden, just that, at that moment, it became personal, but he put it out there.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think they have...
Well, they definitely connected. Yeah. They connected on the background, the family background. And
I think they have good communication on the spirituality aspects of things, you know, where I think, again, his state of being is kind of agnostic or undecided, you know, and not feeling compelled to necessarily make a decision. But he has his grounds of feeling the way he feels about connecting, you know, and, you know, sex came up a couple of times.
A few times. That's kind of a little... Yeah,
that's
sticking point.
A sensitive situation, which on both sides, you know, he said he wouldn't mind having mediocre sex for a while. It would be quite all right with him.
Well, he sees it as a way of expressing how he feels about her.
He feels that there's a connection, there's a true bond in sex.
But she wants it to really mean that we're doing this because it's us.
Well, she has a spirituality component attached to it.
And if you do, as did I, then it's not just recreation.
True.
It's not just a means of expression. It means something deeper than that. It's got more of a spiritual meaning if that's how you grew up with that. So,
and it's the most physically intimate way of connecting.
Exactly. So, you know, and so because she's only been in one serious relationship and he's had a few, she is a little nervous about, you know, whether or not his connection between the two of them will grow to really mean something. And that's a little scary. But I like the fact that a lot of the couples this season are talking about serious conversations right at the beginning. Yeah. That we haven't seen a lot of couples get comfortable doing.
In the past. True.
Right.
True. And I think everybody seems a little bit more cerebral and objective about the process that they're going through. You know, they haven't made up their mind instantaneously, even if, you know, there isn't an immediate spark. Matter of fact, there's one individual who hasn't made up his mind at all.
We'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
Before we leave Lindy and Miguel, though, one thing that they kind of differed on, philosophy-wise, Lindy saying that love is a choice. Miguel saying that love is a feeling. Yeah. And if you've been with us for a while, we get to break out our book. Yay. Becoming a Professional Lover, which is a book of 52 tips on how to build a solid relationship. And one tip says love is a commitment, not a feeling. True. Because feelings are so wishy-washy, on and off.
Yeah. They're temperamental.
Then your love cannot be based on a feeling. Now, of course, we know at this point that we're talking about the attraction.
True.
Okay, there's attraction there, there's chemistry there. That's not love.
Right.
Okay. And so love being a commitment does mean that you can choose to love someone.
And you can choose
when that feeling is not there, which is what marriage is about.
Mm-hmm.
When that feeling is not there, because it is not there 100% of the time, you still are committed to
that relationship.
Yeah. And so
and you work through that process, because you can grow to love and grow to choose to love the person that you're spending time with, even as you go through bumps and pitfalls and all of that. I mean, the relationship grows stronger.
And who's making that choice right now is Justin.
Big time.
Justin's like,
he made it.
I love you. I'm in love with you. I was loving you when you walked down the aisle. I am in a situation that I've always dreamed of, never thought would happen. And you know what? You don't have to love me right now.
True.
Now, of course, after, everyone is like, okay, how can you really be in love with her after
in 72 hours? Yeah.
But when you hear him talk about it,
no
he's very logical. This is not it doesn't come across as though he's just infatuated.
Right. He's not an airhead. This is something he's always wanted.
Exactly.
I mean, and matter of fact, you may even associate it more with women and their dream of what their life would eventually be.
Right.
With that perfect man.
Right.
He had dreams of it too. And I would guarantee that there's more men out there like him that think the exact same way. We just don't talk about it because we don't want to be alone either. I mean, I nobody wants to be alone. Mm-hmm. But he wears it on his sleeve.
Oh, it's so out there.
He's unapologetic about it.
And I love that.
And that's great.
I love the fact that he's giving no pressure. Now, you know how in the past there have been the women
I love you
who are like, I love you. And if they don't say it back, then it's like, ooh, does he really love me? I need to hear him say it. He's like, you ain't got to say it.
What you do is good enough for me. I mean, right now I see what you do.
And she asked him something like, do you feel I love you by the things I do? And he said yes. And she was like, and he was like, that's all I need. I can see it because I go by behavior more than words anyway. So I love him being that open and that vulnerable, and it scares her to death.
But she's loving it.
But it's scaring her to death.
But she's loving it.
Making her stomach do flip-flops, and he's making me soft. I'm used to being hard, and he's already breaking down my walls, and he's like, I'm stomping all over those walls. They are coming down. And that's interesting. When a person says, I have never felt that way in my life, and I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I want to run. She told the girls when he said that I'm a runner.
Flight.
And I was ready to run.
Fight or flight.
Wow.
She was ready to hack.
Wow. That's interesting. Because she said, to be vulnerable is like showing all your cards. You ain't supposed to do that.
And I understand it.
I do.
I mean, especially when you're an adult. I mean, you've gone through the little kiddie stuff and the growing pains and all of that. So now when you're spending time with someone, you don't do it in the thought of just wasting time, because you realize you ain't got a whole lot of time. So you don't want to waste it.
Been there, done that.
So he's all in. He is committed.
All in.
And for the simple fact that she did not get up when he said it, because she could have said, okay, that's a little too much for me. I can't.
Well, she did say that. She said
it.
This is too much for me.
She ain't going nowhere.
And he kept checking on you. Okay, am I scaring you?
And he even got a little misty-eyed.
He cried.
He
and of course,
because I think he really can cry.
When you saw the
clips,
the trailers, it made it seem like he cried because she laughed at him because he said, "I love you." No, he was crying because I can't believe that I'm really living this right now.
Yeah, he was happy. He was happy. Because again, he said it and she was still there.
Yeah.
You know, he's living it every place that they go. He's like, they spoiling us. They spoiling us.
Wow. He is like all in.
Totally.
All right, then we get to Kristen and Mitch, who are also having very hard conversations, and Kristen is the woman. I'm loving her right now because he is wound so tight.
Yeah,
he is so into his head. And J. Ruth's theory, you and I are on the same page. You said Mitch is going to talk himself out that marriage. Yes, he is. He's already started.
Unnecessary.
Why you got to call your brother and say, dude, I don't feel a spark. I don't know what to do.
He even knows that he's putting pressure on himself.
He's like making himself sick.
Literally.
For nothing.
Self-induced pressure.
For nothing.
Yeah.
But Kristen,
he can't even enjoy this.
Kristen's the girl.
And
he's flip-flopping already. You said he reminds you of Chris from Chris and Paige, that flip-flopping thing.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of Luke. That was his name, Luke.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what season he was from, but he was another flip-flopping. Oh, I think I'm feeling something for you. Ooh, I'm not. Let me try. Let me have sex with you and see. Ooh, no, I'm not. Okay.
The alcohol changes his attitude.
That's that playing with your head stuff. That is no.
But I mean, even in the discussions that they have, you know, she kind of not gives him an out.
She gives him a lot of latitude.
Yeah, she does. She.
Thanking him for being honest
and communicating.
And I can appreciate that. But quit mixing up the signals, man.
Yeah.
You can't mix up the signals. You can't do it. Because that drives somebody crazy.
Because again, it's about a choice of effort or not. But it takes effort. This is a relationship. A relationship takes effort.
And she was like, I can appreciate that, with the tequila and everything, that I got a little bit more. Loose. But, I don't want sex from tequila.
Yeah.
I don't want sex because you got loose. I want sex because you want sex with me. Mm-hmm. And she gave them that ultimatum. I'm not sure if that was a good thing. But she was like, if we get to decision day and I haven't had sex, or at least I love you, divorce, I'm done. He was like,
wow, that's such a guy move.
But you know what? Since he's all about being so honest, then he should be able to take that. She's being honest.
I mean, that's her way of letting him know that she's in it. And I mean, they've discussed, about growth and moving forward, But again, moving forward is movement.
But she's giving him a lot of latitude and trying to keep the pressure off, let her know where she stands. And, I like that. And Morgan and Binh enjoyed their wedding, and they're vibing really nicely, and lots of laughing, and it was his birthday. They each talked to the other's family and got the exact same question. How many kids do you want? That's a big, that might be, I don't know. I don't want to say it's an Asian thing, but it was interesting that both moms
asked the exact same
question. How many kids do you want? Now, of course, Morgan's bridesmaid said she hadn't been really that
thinking about no kids.
Yeah.
But she's been by herself.
Right. So, and because she wants to do a lot with her life and her career and her interests or whatever, when you're by yourself, that's all you're thinking about.
And
but
they're still young. I mean, he just turned 30, literally. Yeah. And she's in her 20s.
I think.
8,
I don't remember.
9, something.
But, again, if they stay together, of course, that's going to change. She'll give him one. But and he's dead scared about her martial arts stuff.
Muay Thai?
Something like that. But he's like, I do not want to get on her bad side because she is an alpha female.
Yeah,
and she cracked her friend's tooth. So I'm just saying.
It was a mistake.
Still.
It happens.
Still, that's a little scary. And I like these couples as a group. Mm-hmm. I like the vibe between the women. There's no cattiness. There's no, everybody seems to get along a lot. And that's cool to see. They have a good time talking to each other. The guys have a good time talking to each other.
Matter of fact, they're even conscious of one another and each other's feelings, because Stacia and Alexis
had a moment. About talking about whole daddy thing.
That, you're right. And the way Alexis said it, it was matter of fact, but as soon as it came out of her mouth, she looked at Stacia,
and saw the reaction and realized, oops, I might have been too blunt.
She knew that it was insensitive.
Yeah.
I mean, the wording.
And she said it's not intentional, but I do tend to be that way. But Justin is making me soft. Justin is he's making me become aware of how I say what I say.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
It is.
That's a good thing.
I mean, I like
it. At least she can be aware.
I like it for Justin's sake. He ain't even in the picture. He's making her conscious when he ain't even around.
I'm telling you, I love it.
Now that's influence. Mm-hmm. That's truly influence.
So as we wrap up, who is your
great
couple of
again? I mean, because I think it's coming from a genuine place from both sides. I think the fear on Alexis' side is genuine because she's experiencing something that she's never had before, and she's in a situation where she just can't back up out of it. I mean, we've got weeks. We at least got this show to go through. And I think she's truly fighting internally of allowing herself to really enjoy this ride, because even if things do go
south,
not necessarily south, but if there's some type of
pitfall
or whatever,
there's gonna be,
she is going to look back on this and truly know that wherever in the future she ends up, that he
really loved her.
Yeah, she had what every woman would ever want from a man.
Absolutely. And I'm going to agree that they're my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot diggity. We on the same page again.
Yeah. Tonight we're on the same page.
We are one.
Who's the red flag couple?
Twitch.
Mitch.
I was going to call him something else.
Mitch and Kristen are the red flag couple for both of us.
No, Mitch is the red flag.
Well.
He's enough red flag for the couple.
Yeah. This is true. I was feeling pained for her as he was telling her, I'm not physically attracted to you.
And that's the thing about it. Yeah.
And it's not about you. It's all about me. And you know what? It still hurts your feelings.
Even if it is true.
Yeah, because she knows it's true.
Usually that's a line.
And she said, what he says is one thing. What he does is something else, and I am so confused. And that's like the worst place to be in a relationship, is confused by mixed signals. I've always hated that. True. If you tell me where you stand,
always hated that.
If you tell me where you stand, then I know how to relate to you, because that's where you stand. Don't mix it up. Either you here or you here. You're not here. That's
even that, whatever
that's
you just
too
did,
much.
that was still together. But when you start going off in different directions,
don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we are. Hope you enjoyed our little recap. We look forward to seeing you this week.
Yes.
Hopefully his schedule will get back to normal.
Hopefully. I believe it will. But please remark. I mean, put something in, write it down, chat, whatever. I don't even know the verbiage, but give us your thoughts
and feedback.
Yeah.
We enjoy reading it. And until we see you next week, love yourself
and each other.
Bye.
Peace. Enjoy.